And hey, would you mind calling a roll,
Can you
please?
introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry. My name is James Labrie. I'm the chair of the Hawaii State Council on Developmental Disabilities. And next person, whoever. Faith, go ahead.
Victoria Murray, self-advocate from Hilo. Absent. Michelle Moralt.
Here.
Ho'opio Okalani Balaz.
Nah.
Can we hear people from Zoom talk to us?
I can hear you. This is Debbie.
I can hear you. This is Shauna.
Debbie?
Oh, there we go.
Thank you
Is
very
Ho'opio
much.
on?
Ho'opio. Kevin Bardsley Marcial, Goodwill Industries.
I'm here.
Mary Brogan, Department of Health, Developmental Disabilities Division. And Chip Chase, Hawaii Disability Rights Center. And Chip Chase from Hawaii Disability Rights Center. Leah Diaz, Department of Vocational Rehabilitation.
Hello, I'm here.
Bathy Fong, self-advocate. Cynthia Fowler, parent from Kauai. Melissa Gibo, Lanakila Pacific. Alicia Kim, Department of Education. Howard Greenberg, parent from Maui. Josh Ige, sub-advocate from Lanai.
He's going to be late.
Yeah.
Oh, is he here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Josh.
Debbie Kobayakawa, parent from Oahu.
Here.
Dr. Kuriko Takahashi, University of Hawaii.
Present.
Eden Watabayashi, Department of Health.
Hello.
Shauna Mish, parent from Kauai.
I'm here.
Darwin Nagamine, sub-advocate Hilo. Alana Souza, Department of Human Services, MedQuest. Reina Lynn Torado, parent from Oahu. Christina Valenzuela, Executive Office on Aging. Mark Vieira, parent from Kona. And Robert Jackson Whitaker, self-advocate Oahu. Oh. And then we have a guest joining us virtually. Could you please introduce your name and any organization? Oh, AJ, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm AJ. I'm Director of People here at Full Life.
I'm Mary Brogan, Developmental Disabilities Division, Department of Health.
Oh, thank you, Mary. And then our staff, you can introduce yourselves, please.
Chase Over, the Community and Legislative Liaison.
Hi, I'm Julia Altoff, and I'm the program specialist from Hawai'i Island.
Elizabeth Pearson, intern with the DD Council.
Saint Bartolos, Executive Director for the State Council.
Faith Nishimura, Secretary for the Council. Amelia Kiovich Konohelani, Kauai, Program Specialist.
That she's
Here.
sleeping.
Oh, and guests attending in person? And Savannah Peskin are one of our interns. Savannah.
Thank you, everyone. Also, Faith, do we have any written or testimonies?
No, we do not at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we do. We have quorum.
And
Yes.
okay, now I would like to go on to approve the minutes from September 25th, 2023, and January 29, 2024. Could I have a motion to approve, please?
First, Chair, maybe we should make sure everybody received them.
Oh,
And they should be in your packets that were mailed out. It is a salmon colored. And if, these should have been, everyone should have been mailed them, and maybe if we could just give a couple of minutes to make sure everybody has found them.
okay.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have it.
does everyone have the minutes in
Yes,
front of them?
yes, we do.
Okay.
Agenda.
Are there anybody, is there any corrections?
Are there,
Let's go one agenda at a time, Chair, should we?
okay.
So maybe on the September one?
On the September agenda, are there any corrections that's needed
From the September minutes?
from the September minutes?
I don't see anything on the minutes for the September. There's nothing wrong.
Okay. How about the January 29, 2024 minutes?
Okay, let's see.
Mm,
They got that one.
And just a reminder to everybody, for the minutes, at any time, if somebody sees an error on the minutes, you're more than welcome to let us know, and we could correct them at a later date. So if you see something in the future, do let us know. They are posted online, and we can make any changes. Also, one other thing, for those people on Zoom, if you want to pin the Aleo channel, you could get us all in one shot rather than individual things. That might be easier. So, Amelia, how do you pin for people on Zoom if they needed to pin?
Yes, hi, everybody. If you go to the top, where you have your little boxes of people, then you can click on the three little dots in the top right corner, and then go down, click on that menu, and then click pin. And then they will stay on your center screen. And if you go to full screen mode, which I recommend, that way you can see when any of the captioning is coming up. Otherwise, it gets kind of cut off at the bottom, I noticed, with the bar up where it says share screen and summary and all of that.
Thank you, Amelia. And then just for people to know that Angie Nozaki, she's our other staff, our office assistant. She's in the office, and she's going to be monitoring the chat. So Angie, just speak up if somebody puts something in chat, because we can't see it here, and just go ahead and call it out to us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Amelia. I'm sorry, Chair. Thank you for letting me to interrupt.
Is there any corrections that are needed before I go ahead and move on?
Actually, no.
Hearing
me no.
none. Okay, could we move on to?
We have to vote on the minutes.
Yeah,
We have to
Could I
approve the
have
minutes.
a motion to approve the minutes, please?
so moved.
So moved. Any second?
Approve.
Second it.
Second it.
All right, minutes have been approved. Next slide. Old business, I'm gonna turn that over to Dentry.
Okay, thank you, Chair. This portion is on our funds for the DD Council. We did receive our state funds of $256,000, and that's continuing. We have received our federal funds of $526,000. Our donated dental contract, we still have some glitches. Faith, where are we at with our donated dental contract?
We're waiting for the Deputy Attorney General for a second review.
And so that money is there. We did allocate. We have $25,000 to donated dental. And so that service is being rendered, but we haven't paid the bill yet. And they understand because they had to turn in a current, what was it?
Certificate of Vendor Compliance.
Yeah. And so that was what we're working on. We also have our self-advocacy network where we have, they have about $25,000 that we give every year. And so we're doing fine financially. There was a nerve, say our names before we speak.
Okay.
Sorry about that. All right, so, okay, we'll get better at that. So before you speak, you guys, we have to make sure we say our names first.
Got it.
And so, yeah, so, sorry, I got distracted there. So we, our federal funds, they are giving us in every 3 months, so we didn't get our full amount. Our federal funds start in October, but we're still working off of our federal fiscal year 23 funds, so we're doing just fine. That's the my update on our budget of our finances. Chair, back to you, James.
Okay, next. I think update and agency activities from September 25 to January 28, 2024.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys. This is Daintree. Chair Jack Lewin was supposed to give an update on what they're doing. I didn't hear him on Zoom, though.
No.
So, Angie, if you see Jack Lewin come on Zoom, please let us know. Yeah, if he's not
Okay.
there. Go back to you, Chair.
Thank you. University Centers on Excellence Disability. Kariko or Holly?
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. This is Kiriko Takahashi on Zoom from Center on Disability Studies. The update has been included in the minutes. Daintree, can you tell me what color was the
It's the
paper?
goldenrod paper.
It's the goldenrod. So we mentioned about, we just would like to thank everybody for your participation in the Pacific Rim 2024, which was held at the end of February and beginning of March. We had a very successful attendees and presentations and exhibitors throughout the day. And we appreciate the DD Council's support for our joint effort in implementing the annual conference and workshops. We are still ongoing with our director search for our permanent director. The permanent director is slated to start on August 1st. We're still ongoing, so if you know of any good candidates, they're still eligible to apply. Please send it, the director to our way. A couple good news that we have been doing, working really hard, is the recovery efforts and mental health support for the Maui fire for children and adults with developmental disabilities. So we have been able to receive the funding through SAMHSA, through the Division of Developmental Disabilities, to conduct mental health support for those who have been impacted on Maui. The other two that I have here and listed as an update is some announcement on activities that we are doing for young students and youth who are aged 16 to 21. We have the reverse job fair activities going on still. If you have participated in the past, it's a very interactive, engaging activity for both the employers and the students. You can still register until April 5th, and there's still time. So please take a look at the attached flyer. As well as for Project Hokulani, another project that we are working with now middle school to high school students to provide internship opportunity for students with disabilities and those without disabilities especially those who are Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, and Filipino. And there is still a time to apply, so please visit the website listed on the update sheet. And one last additional update is our current interim director, Dr. Lauren Lamho, will be stepping down from the position at the end of March. We will keep you posted on the transition from April. Thank you.
Thank you, Kariko. This is James again. I would like to call on Division of Vocational Rehab. That's DS.
Yes, aloha. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Leah Diaz. I'm the administrator with DVR. I have to start off and say you guys look very fancy. I like your Olelo setup, very nice. So I have a report. It's actually, I think it was a golden colored handout. And it's our DVR, Division of Vocational Rehabilitation report for January 1st through actually March 13th of this year. So during this quarter, DVR worked with 2,672 people who have different types of disabilities. And we were able to successfully place and close 13 people in competitive integrated employment. And you can see from the handout that there were a variety of different jobs that we placed people in. The earnings were anywhere, ranging from minimum wage up to $43.87 an hour for a flight attendant who we placed in employment. And the number of hours people worked every week ranged again, from part-time to full-time, but an average of 25 hours per week. So very proud of the work that the DVR counselors are doing, considering we still have a quite high vacancy rate. 43% of our positions are vacant. So working really hard statewide to still provide services as best as we can. Rather than go through all of the details, I'll also mention that in my report on page 3, there's a breakdown of different types of individuals with disabilities, the different percentages of individuals with disabilities that we work with. And so you would see that a little over a third are folks that may be of interest to the DD Council. So quite a large percentage of the people that we work with. Other than that, I really enjoyed seeing so many of you at the Employment First conference a couple of weeks ago. I was very excited with what I saw there, and I'll just leave it at that unless anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Leah. I would like to move on to, does anybody have any questions for Leah? April? Go ahead.
thank you. So April got some support from DVR services. I appreciate that, April. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, April. Anybody else have any questions?
I have a
Nope.
quick, if I may,
Oh,
Chair,
okay.
this is Debbie.
Okay, go ahead,
Kobaika.
Debbie.
I've sent Leah over the, I don't know, last couple of months, a couple of parents that were not happy, and they were, I'm sure, a bit like a hot missile coming in, and I just want to publicly acknowledge her for that. I know it's hard to take those calls, right? I can be that parent sometimes, so thank you. You helped, and it got back to me, and I just want to acknowledge that in front of the group. So appreciate it. I know, and folks appreciate feeling heard. So thanks.
Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate you sending, parents my way or anyone my way. That's my job. That's what we're here to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you. If there's no other questions if there's not any other questions, I would like to move on to individuals with disability and education art. Alyssa? Kim?
Representative from DOE. At this state, representative from DOE, I do not believe they're here. Is that correct, Faith? I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience, you guys. This is our first time in the studio, and we're looking and we're getting used to everything. So thank you for indulging us. I do not believe we have. And I'm sorry, AJ, were you representing, I'm sorry, I didn't hear where you're from, AJ.
Full Life.
I'm from Full Life. We're a service provider that offers HCBS services to our participants.
Thank you, AJ. I apologize. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Chair. So DOE is not present today.
No worries.
DOE is not present. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Department of Developmental Disabilities Division, Mary Brogan. Mary?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We also had submitted a written report also on Goldenrod, the color, as Developmental Disabilities Division on the top of it for the written report. I just want to give you some highlights. Every year we try to look at things that we're doing well and what specific goals we want to accomplish over the next year. And that's at the top of the page there. So things that we really have been focusing on over the last year is increasing our teaming around individuals as well as system issues and partnerships, embracing innovation, trying new things, and using technology better. Another thing that we've been working on is strengthening our 1915C waiver, both the practices and the quality of services, as well as the infrastructure, the staffing that we need to operate the waiver. Another area we've been really focusing on is improving support and communication internally with our staff. Then you'll see some goals that we have for next year. I think that I'm not going to go over every one of them, but a couple of them have to do with working more with participants and families on improving services and communication. We feel that's an area we need to improve in. And the other key area that we want to work on is making sure that our case management practices are consistent, that all the case managers have the foundational skill sets and are able to provide case management with quality. Another update is we just recently launched a new rate study, and this is for the next waiver application, which is going to go in 2026. So a few years down the road, but we have to start this early because any requests that we anticipate that are related to our budget have to go into the biennium budget for the next fiscal year. So we have to turn that in for the next legislative session. So we start the rate study very early. So you'll be hearing more about that as well as other waiver planning. Some highlights from the implementation of the funding that was made available through the American Rescue Plan. We continue to do positive approaches, which is our trauma-informed care and transforming the practices and mindsets of our waiver provider organizations through training and organizational change consultation, as well as general training. Something that we're very excited about is we've made a lot of progress on being able to launch the Direct Support Professional Workforce Development Initiative. And this would be, it's a model where the workers, the direct support professionals, will become certified through taking coursework. Most of it is online. Some of it is through getting together and community of practice, people sharing their experiences. But we're now on the edge of contracting with what's called the Learning Management System, which is Relias, and the agency that is going to actually issue the certifications. It would be a national certification that the direct support professionals would be awarded after going through the coursework and being able to demonstrate their knowledge and skills in that way. So we're on the edge of that. We're going to be meeting with several of the agencies that are going to test the program for us. And there's 3 agencies that volunteered for that. So we're going to be meeting with them, and people are actually going to be going through the certification process in a live kind of way. And so even in the test, they'll be able to earn the credits, if you will, towards a certification for direct support professional. And thank you for your comment, Debbie. This was largely an initiative that came out of, for those of you who were there years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, called the Santa Summit, where the primary concern of the people that participated, primarily the families, was the quality of services. I think access has become a high issue also, but this was really the inspiration for moving ahead with the certification. Debbie, I saw you come on. Did you want to say something?
I just remember it and I'm excited about it. And I love the fact that, bumping it up, I'm that parent. So I'm always excited to hear that things are moving in a good direction. Yes. So thank you. And I know it takes time, and I make sure to share that with families. It takes a lot of time, but when it happens, we have to make sure to acknowledge, because otherwise folks will quit trying, right? So that's going to be the teacher in me, always catching you when you guys are good. So thank you for sharing that good work. And I hope that folks will take advantage of this opportunity as well.
Thank you so much. There was so much more involved with setting this up than I ever thought was part of this. We had to do a study to look at which were the best curricula, so the best programs. And so we were able to push even the national systems to be able to offer what we need. So we're having Open Future Learning. AJ, I know Full Life uses Open Futures, and which has IDD specific curricula. We're going to develop some of our own courses and curricula that are specific to Hawaii. And yeah. So some of these other things, I don't want you to like glaze over or for me to take too much more time, but we are also implementing a quality management program, a data exchange agreement with MedQuest. Will we be able to look at people who we serve in DDD and also the medical claims to understand more about the whole person. And we're going through a data exchange agreement with MedQuest right now to be able to, for the first time, be able to combine some of that data. We're also going to be working with the university to do, to look at the data and provide us analysis and reporting and data displays on that. A big thing that I probably, with Deidre and James' permission, I'll probably put off and maybe ask to highlight in the next meeting, and that is there's going to be a new federal regulation called the Home and Community-Based Services Access Rule. So remember the last big regulation that we went through was the community integration one. This one for us is quite going to be quite consuming because it's going to mean a real change to a lot of our data systems, reporting, and you'll be able to get information more at the granular level. There's a lot that's involved with that regulation. It has not yet been issued. The final regulation has not yet been issued. We were able to put in a lot of feedback. The states were able to do that. And the whole thrust of this rule is to increase access to quality services. So there's a lot of overhaul of our quality management and what we report on. And it's going to be good, but it's going to be really a lot of work. So I will do, with your permission, a separate briefing on that as soon as that regulation is released. And if anybody has questions on anything, I'd be glad to answer.
Does anybody have any questions for Mary?
We call in April.
April, go ahead.
I have a question for Mary Morgan. Do you remember me from DD Council?
I remember you.
Okay.
Nice to see you.
Nice to hear from you. You from the Big
Thank you.
Island, right? No.
I'm actually I live in Aiea.
Oh, Aiea. I forget who would bring me to the Big Island. I was supposed to be living with somebody over there.
Yeah, but
I remember.
okay, April, thank you.
Yeah.
So, yep, she remembers you.
Okay, Mary. I just want to say hi. How are you doing?
I'm good. Nice to see you.
Okay, thank you.
Good job. And Sheriff, it's okay if I could respond to Mary asked about an update at our next meeting?
Sure, go ahead.
So our next meeting is going to be May, and that's going to be our annual meeting, Mary. So we'll have plenty of time. That meeting is our all-day one in person. So we'll definitely put you on the schedule to do that.
Oh, thank you.
So not a
that would
problem
be
at all.
perfect time.
Thank you.
I'll-
And then
I'll prepare for that.
terrific. I see more people on Zoom. Faith, Chair, I believe there's a couple more board members that I didn't see. I believe that's Mark on Zoom, as well as our Zoom is rebooting, and then Howard. Is that correct? I see Mark and Howard.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so if you missed the first part, we're doing it in the studio now. We're doing live broadcasts here to present at our board meetings. It's going to be part of the transparent openness of boards and commissions that is going to be coming out. So we wanted to get a jump on it and do a dry run before it has to be done officially. And so excuse any glitches that you may hear. And so that's what we're doing right now. So back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Next, I would like to call on Executive Office of Aging, Christina.
She's on Zoom.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The Executive Office of Aging's report is also one of the goldenrod papers. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry, but it's the last goldenrod page. Just wanted to, I don't really have much to add, but just wanted to highlight that I had reported in the last meeting, or in the September meeting, that EOA had updated and completed the state strategic plan on Alzheimer's disease and related dementia. And so just our coordinator is working with community organizations and other partner coalitions to implement that plan. And so if folks are interested in participating on different action teams, which consist of program and policy, data, and a couple others. I apologize, I don't have the specific names of the action teams, but if you're interested, please email me. I put my email on there and I can put you in touch with the Alzheimer's disease and related dementia coordinator for that. And the last thing, I just wanted to acknowledge and thank Daintree and Che for working with us on several aging and disability related bills. So thank you so much, giving us a heads up, working together on testimony. So that was it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Next, thank you.
Any questions?
Does anyone have any questions for Christina? Okay. Michelle, sorry, do you have any?
That was Christina.
Yes.
She's with the Executive Office on Aging. She was online.
Okay.
Christina.
Hi.
Hi, Chris. This is Michelle, the board member of committee. I just want to thank you very much for letting us know about the testimony. Thank you very much to be there.
Thank you.
And stuff. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions for Christina? Anybody? Okay. Seeing none, next I would like to move on to children and youth special health needs section. Edith. What?
Yeah, hi. Hi, this is Eden. Yes, from the Department of Health, Children and Youth with Special Health Needs. And sorry, we actually don't have any new updates to share at this time. But thank you.
That's totally fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to move on to Hawaii Disability Rights Center and Chip Chase.
Well, we're busy as usual, extremely busy as usual. I really don't have any specific exciting things to tell you about how we have made things work for people who are legally entitled to them. I'm trying to rack my brain this very minute for one of those wonderful stories. But there's so many, literally, there are so many in the last 3 months that I can't put my finger on one. But I can tell you we've personally, I've got a dozen new clients that we're working on who fall into our category here. So the word is getting out that there is help and we can help. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions for Anne? Okay, next I would like to move on to Department of Human Services. Alana.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I did not submit my report ahead of time. I will give my report to Faith right after this. But the initiatives that MQD is currently working on, so our 1115 waiver renewal. So we have just submitted our request to the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services to extend our current 1115 waiver for another 5 years. Our current waiver period began August 1st of 2019, and it will expire on July 31st of 2024. We are asking for renewal of most of our components of our current waiver services, and we're also asking for some new services to be included, which will include some housing-related services, which will expand our community integration services, which is our current homeless program for related to tenancy, pre-tenancy. The new initiative that we're asking for is to provide rental assistance up to 6 months, and also to provide medical respite services for certain eligible individuals. Some of the other initiatives that we're also asking for is the pre-release services for justice-involved individuals. So this will let us be able to start planning with individuals that are coming out of prison 90 days before they come out. Right now, we cannot interact with them until they come out. So this will give us like a 90-day period to work with them to get them everything they need when they do come out. And then also included in that is some nutritional supports. So that's to provide nutritional supports for eligible beneficiaries, including nutrition education, fruit and vegetable prescriptions, meal boxes, pantry restocking, so that sort of thing. And then also included another service that we'll be asking for is the Native Hawaiian traditional healing practices. So this will help utilize Hawaiian culture in providing services. So this one will include lomi lomi, hula, ho'oponopono, those type of services to individuals also. So that one is currently, we're in the approval. We submitted everything. We had our public comment period, and now we're waiting for the approval with CMS and to get an interview with them for questions and stuff. So waiting on that. The next thing that we are implementing is the electronic visit verification manual edit payment withhold. So EVV is the system that electronically verifies check-in and check-out of services provided to members in their home. So MQD has been working with DDD and the DD waiver providers over the past 3 years on this federal requirement called the 21st Century Cures Act that was originally passed by Congress in 2016. We've been working one-on-one with agencies. We've held town meetings. We've had provider agency meetings, continue to have regular health plan and DD meetings to address the manual edit percentages. So on April 1st, the payment withhold will begin for agencies for anyone that's above the 15% manual edit percentage. So this is strictly for provider agencies at this time. Any consumer directed or CD services payment withhold will be determined at a future date. DD providers are actually doing pretty well. As of March 12th, there were 9 providers that out of everyone that has been like out of compliance for the last 7 months. So DDD is still working with those agencies to try to get them on track for that. And then MedQuest was recently approved for a Housing Services Partnership Accelerated Technical Assistance Program. So this is a program with HUD, where we were one of 8 states that recently got approved for this accelerator program that will help us bring state and public resources together to help reduce homelessness by addressing health-related service needs and housing-related services. We do not get any financial support from this initiative, and I wanted to mention that again because I know in some press releases, it was said that we were having funds from this program, but we are not. This is not any financial support. We'll just be receiving technical assistance for collaboration with other entities. That's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Alana? Okay, hearing none. Next, I
Thank
would
you.
like to move on to Goodwill, Goodwill Organizations. Kevin on Zoom.
Hi, Kevin Bartu, Marcial, Project Specialist for Goodwill in Hawaii, representing nonprofit agencies. I'm sorry I did not submit a report. I will do that after as well. Couple things, just based off of, previous conversations we had today. One was I am all for the DDD doing you know, the, the increasing educational opportunities for our providers in the certificate program. I know that's well needed, so I do support that as well. Couple of things from our end is, staffing and recruiting, retention is still a challenge as with every industry here in Hawaii. So everybody's dealing with it differently. Also, the waiver study to increase rates that Mary had talked about earlier. I know it got delayed until the 29th for the deadline. So I know most of the agencies are working on that as well for the reimbursement rate study. And then there's two events that are coming up. Well, three events, sorry. The first event is coming up from the Hawaii Waiver Provider Association on Wednesday. They're doing a training. They're also in collaboration with personnel from the Alaska Waiver Provider Association to help with increasing, provider interest and building back up the provider network association that was prior to the pandemic. So that's happening this Wednesday. And then there are two, social events coming up, which is the Autism Society of Hawaii is having their Heli for Autism event and walk on April 7th, Saturday at Magic Island, approximately 8 to 9 a.m. And then Best Buddies is having their annual friendship walk on Saturday, May 11th, 2024 at Magic Island as well. So I could put that information in the chat as well. That's all I have right now.
Thank you, Kevin. Does anyone have any questions for Kevin?
Oh yeah, sorry. My last thing, Chair. My bad.
No problem.
I just want to I just want to acknowledge it was nice to see all the participants and the provider agencies from the various islands at the recent day at the Temperado. It was really nice to see a lot of people from the neighbor islands as well able to come in and visit for the day. So it was pleasant to see that. So thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Kevin? Okay, hearing none, I would like to move on to Nanakila Pacific Melissa. On Zoom.
Hi, thank you, Chair. I'm sorry, my camera is, because of my bandwidth, I'm having a hard time turning that on. So I am not able to share my screen, but I was sorry for not submitting a written report, so I'm just gonna have to submit that after the meeting. Lanakila Pacific continues to work on our employment initiatives, providing opportunities to find competitive integrated employment for people with disabilities. We are awaiting notice on the contract awards for the pre-ETS services for transition age youth. We are in the process of transitioning to the knowledge services contracting system for our adult VWATS, the vocational work adjustment training services. And that's all under our DVR contracts, and continuing to build stronger transitions between our waiver employment with our current ADHCLS group opportunities as well as our DVR services. We also have some grants that allow for us to provide employment placement services for people who don't qualify for DVR. We are still accepting new participants. So if anybody has anybody in need of these services, please send them our way. We are also, similar to Goodwill, actively recruiting personnel, having a hard time finding qualified people. So as Kevin said, we are also very appreciative of DDD's efforts to improve the career timelines and pathways for direct support professionals in our field and making more viable career options. Lanakila Pacific also continues to participate in the council's Bridging IDD and Aging Grant. So we participate on some of the work groups that Christina mentioned for the dementia initiatives, and seeing how we can align our workforce development initiatives, improve screening and diagnostic tools for people with IDD at risk of dementia, and supporting the council's efforts in those areas. And I think that's it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Melissa? No. No. Okay. Next, I would like to move on to Chase Che, who is present for our legislative report.
Okay, hi everybody. You should have this paper in your packet. So there's actually two parts to the legislative report. You also should have something that kind of looks like a boring Excel spreadsheet printed out. So we'll get to this one later, but first we just want to focus on the 2024 legislative session. So this one is basically the bills that we want to focus on that highlight the current bills that are our priorities that are still moving through the legislative session. Session will not end until basically the end of April, early May, and so bills are still moving through. They can technically die at any moment, but for now, these ones are still alive and they look promising. So we have our first one, which is SB 849. This is relating to personal needs allowance. Essentially, what this measure does is it allows individuals that live in long-term care homes to have more additional monies every month. So the personal needs allowance currently they get is about $50, and we're hoping to increase it to $75. And currently, this has a lot of strong support, and it's moving through the legislature pretty easily. We have HB 2556, which is relating to the Hawaii Able Savings Program. As you folks know, we passed this, or the legislature passed this in 2016, which allowed everyone to open ABLE accounts. What we've found is that basically people don't know about them. And so even though people can use them, we made sure that they were up and running in Hawaii. Now the next hurdle is to make people aware of them so they can be on them. I don't really need to preach to the choir for you folks on what ABLE accounts are, but really briefly, if you have a disability before the age of 26, you can open an ABLE account, and it lets you save money without losing your poverty-based systems. So food stamps, Medicaid waiver services, SSI, SSDI, things like that. So it lets you save money, hopefully still work or start to work, and not lose any of those benefits. As of right now, this bill is moving through pretty well, and the main point is that it's going to give our agency an additional staff to increase awareness. Something like, I think 100 people have an ABLE account in Hawaii, maybe a little bit more at this point, and a bigger estimate is like 100,000 people qualify. So there's a big gap there, so that's why this bill is important.
And also, Che, for the DOE, teaming up with the DOE to incentivize, so school-aged people who were eligible to open up an ABLE account after a year, then Budget and Finance will deposit money into their ABLE accounts as an incentive program.
Yeah, so two-pronged bill. So both give us a staff and give us the funding to do that incentive program in the DOE. Thank you, Danger. We have SB 2503, which is relating to adult changing tables. This is a very straightforward ADA bill, which essentially is just making it so that all new buildings would have to have basically like a motorized or an electric changing table. So they look just like baby changing tables, but they're bigger and kind of on steroids, and they move up and down with hydraulics. And they're just so that adults have a place to, have a changing table. We heard from many parents that this was actually really needed because it was one of the biggest obstacles of why they could not take their adult children out and about in their communities and be a part of their everyday lives, because where they were going to go to the bathroom or where they were going to be able to change was a really big hurdle, actually. So a lot of people would stay home and just not do those things. So we hope that this bill will increase our DD community or developmental disability community and their integration in our community. It's, as I said, an ADA bill, so it would be all new public buildings have to have these in their bathrooms. It does not work retroactively. However, if you do a serious upgrade to your bathroom or to any area of the public space, you would actually have to now include these. And this also has support and has been moving through the legislature pretty easily up to this point as well. We have HB 2359, which is technology access. Essentially, this is just a program or a bill that will allow for more programs relating to digital accessibility and digital access. So while this bill in and of itself is not going to be a digital accessibility program, it will increase the amount that we will have those programs. So overall, this bill will support having more digital and accessible access to, digital broadband and telehealth and things like that over the long run. We also have HB 1976, which is relating to voting accessibility. This is essentially just giving the statewide election accessibility needs advisory committee. It's just giving them the funds they need to do their job, and their whole job is to make sure that individuals with disabilities have access to voting. And then our last bill to highlight is SB 3094, which is relating to peer support specialists. This bill is essentially just a working group that is trying to enhance peer supports throughout our state and throughout various agencies. We at the DD Council already do this pretty well, so it's not something that we would really have to incorporate, but we've been supporting it as it's something that we hope they can do statewide. And so that's all I have for these priorities, but I do want to pause there before we go into the second document, just if there's any questions on any of the bills I just spoke about. I know sometimes I talk pretty fast.
Does that?
Any questions on Zoom? Sorry, we can't see you folks, so. Okay, seeing no questions, I'm going to move on. So you have a second packet. This is basically a comprehensive list of every single measure that we have testified on so far in legislation. If I remember correctly, all of these measures are still alive. So all of these today are still moving through the legislature. These are just not necessarily our priorities, but we have, the bill is in here, we have provided testimony on it in some way. We tried to break it up by our areas of emphasis, so our different committees. And if the main purpose of this is just so that you can see every bill that we've testified on. And the main goal would just be, if you have any questions on these, feel free to ask them now. But the main purpose of this is so you have it, look it over when you have time, and then email or call me with any questions. And I'm always happy to talk. Otherwise, that's all I have.
Thank you. Jay, this is Danger. I have a question for you. Can you talk briefly about the earmark that we had a meeting this morning with Congressman Schatz's office, in case any attached agency happens to have an extra $150,000 they want to give us?
So there was a bill that it wouldn't technically be on either of these lists because it did already die in the session, but it was looking at doing a health disparity study for our developmental disability population in Hawaii. One of our bigger things is that there's just a big gap group of people with DD that we don't know anything about. We do know that DDD serves 3,000 or so or more people, but our estimates show that there's at least 22 to 23,000 people out there with DD that we should be helping and serving. And so the bill was really targeting those folks that, DDD is not serving, but we know exist. And we're just kind of curious what issues they're facing, how we can help those individuals. And so the study would be looking for them. The bill did die, but what we did do is we met with Congressman Schatz's office this morning, and they are able to do federal earmarks. And those federal earmarks basically allow the congressman to give money to the states. The senator. It allows the senator to give money to the state so that they can, basically do improvement projects of any kind. And so this would fall under the health section. And so we were giving them a briefing on kind of what the ask was. You want me to go into the numbers and?
No, that's enough. I
okay.
think it just.
So we had that
overview
meeting.
of that. Thank you, Che. And then one more question for Che, and I'm sorry, I'm just putting Che on the spot here. The survey, we sent out a survey from Danielle, and maybe you could explain what that is so people
Sure.
are.
If you folks got the email with the link, essentially it's a survey for individuals with developmental disabilities. It's a survey that the University of Hawaii is doing. It was not designed specifically for our population, but it is a health disparity survey. And as long as our intent is to share it with as many members of our community as we can so that we can get that data as well. And we don't have to pay for it because it's already happening. and we can get as many people to sign up for that. There is an incentive program, I believe. I don't remember the exact number, but you get a gift card for being a part of it and answering a bunch of
$20.
You get a $20 gift card for being a part of it. So, yeah, if you get that link, please do it. It is for individuals with developmental disabilities. It's not meant for parents. It's not meant for family members. Please just have the individual do the survey.
Correct, adults at that,
Yeah.
not children.
Specifically adults.
Thank you, Che.
I had that.
Michelle, you took the survey?
Yes, I
Good
did.
job, Michelle.
Okay.
Back to you, Chair.
Can I ask a
Uh,
question?
Oh, wait,
of
there's a
Jay?
question.
Okay, question for Kevin or for Jay?
Mark.
Mark.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Hey, Jay. Regarding the community that's not being served, to 20 some odd thousand people, is that right?
Yep.
Of that we think are out there that need services that aren't currently receiving services?
Yeah, you want me to elaborate on who they are or what that group is?
Well, I was just curious as to, do you think it's a challenge getting that passed? Because if it's passed and we, how do I say this in a way that, see here, is it a tough thing to try to determine if there are, how we can help more people without having the budget to help them? And I believe you mentioned something about how, Senator Schatz might be able to provide some federal funding in order to help more of these people that aren't being helped so far. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but
Yeah, I think I can tackle some of what I think
do you
you're
think
asking.
we would make more headway being able to serve more people if it weren't a money issue?
Yeah. So
I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a money issue from what we know as of now. This is more of like we're at the just identifying stage. I wouldn't say, at least anywhere in my research or conversations with people, that it was like, oh, we don't have the money, so we don't want to find the people, we don't want to do the work. This is much more like, hey, we're using federal prevalence rates and other numbers to show us how many people we should have in a rough estimate, right? And so if all these estimates that are from the 90s, so they're probably on the low end, if all those estimates are out there, saying that we should have at least 20,000 people with DD in our community, and we're only really serving, 3,000 to 4,000 with the DD Medicaid waiver program, things like that. I'm not saying that that's a funding thing or a funding problem. This is more like, how come we don't know anything about these people? How come we don't know where they are? How come we don't know what challenges they're facing? And we're at the stage of just trying to identify them, not necessarily we know they exist and there's no money, so we're not serving them.
So, and this is the, this is the health disparity, related law that's not yet passed.
Yeah, so there was a bill, we've been referring to it as the health disparity study, that already died in the legislature this year. That's why we went and tried to meet with Senator Schatz. Oh, sorry, it's gone. We met with Senator Schatz to see if, since we weren't able to get it through legislation, if earmarks were a way we could get it funded. But to clarify, the conversation with the senator's office was not about funding the services. It was about funding the survey or the study to figure out, who these folks are and what their challenges they're facing.
Gotcha. Do you think there's a way that can be brought back to life, or do you reckon that's going to be pushed through at some point?
So for this legislative session, bill's dead. It's about as dead as it can be. I would have to look at, sometimes you can bring back old bills if they've made it a certain place in the session, but I'd say it's pretty much dead for this session. It can be brought back next year, and our resurrection of it is kind of trying to talk with the senator's office. That would be since it did die, that's the next step.
Yeah, so we may be able to get federal funds for that, and that's what we're trying to look into now instead of state funds.
Thank you.
Trey. Thank you, Mark, for the question.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Mark. This is James again. I would like to move on to next slide. Progress of state federal fiscal year 22-23. Community supports Che and Holly.
I don't believe Holly is here, but I know Kiriko is on. But Kiriko, I'm not sure if you want to touch on this report at all, or I can go for it.
If this is Kiriko, if you don't mind going through, Chair, that would be great.
Okay. No worries. I'm not going to go over the whole written report. The main thing I just want to highlight to add to it is that the Community Supports Committee is working specifically on the state plan goal to look at how we can do 4 educational trainings surrounding alternatives to guardianship. And so we're trying to basically check that box and finish that goal. We've already met in the CSC group to talk about what alternatives to guardianships are, what we're trying to educate people on. Our group really wants to focus on supported decision-making. As my coworker Julia will mention, there are other alternatives to guardianship that also are important, but we do feel that focusing on supported decision-making is important, as it's one of the more comprehensive programs that can be an alternative to guardianship. And so one of our first steps is that we are doing our first training on April 11th at 1 p.m. through the Centers on Disability Studies. So you can do that. There's a flyer and a webinar link and everything. And so that'll be our first training of 4. And we're looking to do 3 more. Hopefully our second one is with the DOE at the quarterly transition meeting, the teacher quarterly transition. So those are the first 2 that we kind of are looking into, and we're looking for 2 more. And that's currently where we're at.
All right.
And Chair, I believe these reports are on, this white? The white reports, everyone was mailed out, so the reports are also mailed out.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? No. Okay. Moving on to public awareness, education, and Chase and Zos.
There we go. There we go. On public awareness, education, and training, I think the one thing would like to celebrate was the Developmental Disabilities Day at the legislature at the Capitol. It was outstanding. There were the official total I heard were 550 people. I think it was more like 700 people myself. I was totally, I had a table, just wiped everything out. Every piece of literature, every goodie, everything. And I was, hoarding the goodies because I knew it was going to be exceedingly large. It was fabulous. Not only, did we inform people from my table and from the dozens of other tables, but I got 3 new clients. Just bammo, people walking up going, I need your help. I need your help. Oh. And that's what we're there for. And that's what the whole program was about. So it was great. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you.
I was there too in helping and trying to help you out. I was trying to look for you to help you out.
All right.
Yes, everybody was there with this, including me. I was there supporting you guys. Of course, I'm not gonna forget because I know you guys are still my family. So I love you guys.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Chair, this is Daintree. I just wanted to give a shout out to our Alzheimer's Association, who we teamed up with. And so they are very supportive, and they put on a press conference in the morning. So that was really exciting that we had the press conference, and so it went really well. So I thank my staff for all their hard work that they put into it. Yay. It's months of planning and support, and the agencies as well. So I appreciate it. We couldn't have done it without, we had 24 agencies volunteering, and we had over 51 volunteers come and help us for the day. So thank you, everybody, for that. Yes, I'm sorry, Sorey had a question.
Sorry.
You had a good time,
All
Sorey?
right, nice.
Thank
good
you.
Job. Any questions? Nope. Okay. Moving on to employment and housing, transportation, Julia.
Hi, is this on?
It is.
Okay. Hi, Julia Altoff, Program Specialist with DD Council. So we had our Transportation, Housing, and Employment Committee meeting today. And I was excited. We were all excited because there were more people there. So thank you all for coming. Appreciate that. And some of the highlights, of course, Day at the Capitol that, everybody was very excited about. And by the way, thanks, Faith, because Faith booked all these tickets and got us all over from our island. The other thing was the Employment Summit that I think Leah mentioned, and that was very well attended. And we were able to bring over subject matter experts from across the country to train on that one through our NEON, National Expansion of Employment Opportunities Grant. And then we just continue to work on the rest of our goals from our state plan. So that's what we're doing on our committee.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Julia? Nope. Okay. Moving on to health, children, and youth. Amelia or Alana?
On Zoom.
On Zoom. Sorry, I always forget that.
Someone's not here. She went to Japan.
Hey everybody, so I submitted my report for the Health, Child, and Youth Committee. So you guys should have that. The one thing that I also wanted to mention is we are going to be meeting with University of Hawaii about the U Hero survey to discuss some of the questions that they have on there to see about how it might work with the mental health survey that we're working on as well for the Health, Child, and Youth Committee. I think that's the only update I have. Alana, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, that's good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Alana or Amelia? Hearing none, okay. We're gonna move on, but I think we're gonna skip this next one because Dos is not here.
Yeah, Zosimo's not here. And I thought he submitted a report, but Faith said he did not. So
What's that?
So with self-advocates, this is Daintree. I know they've been doing sign waving.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
so Michelle, do you know
Okay, yeah. I
what?
can.
Go ahead and hit your mute.
We're gonna do the sun waving again for parents that women that is pregnant and abused and drinking.
So domestic violence sign waving, and then your fetal alcohol spectrum disorder sign waving.
Yes. How your baby gonna get infected when you drink? So plenty more people are coming to do the waving. So please join us if you able to. If not, then that's okay. But if I would you guys to come and join us for the waving and support it. Thank you.
All right. Next, we are gonna move on to Kauai Island Subcommittee. Amelia. Amelia.
Hi everybody. Okay. You should have the Hawaii DD Council Committee reports, and At this time, I don't have anything else to add to it.
Okay. Next, we're gonna move on to East Hawaii Island, Julia.
Sorry. Can I do Hawaii Island altogether? Because we're doing both of them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Let's see. A couple of the highlights. You have the written report in your packets. We were able to present on ABLE accounts at the Keao High School Transition Fair. And one thing that was wonderful, Vibrant Hawaii had a resilience fair, and we were able to attend that. And that's for emergency response and recovery. So we're trying to make sure that folks with disabilities, cross disabilities, are considered in the emergency response and recovery plans for the county. Then we also did, I think there isn't a SAC member from Hawaii Island on the call, so I can report on the SAC activities too. We're going to be doing sign waving on our island too for both of those issues. And we are in the process of starting to plan our legislative forum, even though it doesn't come until October. And then in February, we had our West Hawaii DD Council meeting, and then followed up with a SAC Valentine's Day party. And in March, we had our SAC meeting and followed that up with a party too for St. Patrick's Day. And those are the third Wednesday of every month at 11 o'clock at the Ark of Kona Community Room. So that's all.
All right. First, before I move on, I would like to move it and turn it over to Daintree for her announcements.
It's actually the next on the agenda, so
Okay.
I'll go ahead. Thank you, Chair. Daintree Bartos. So I just wanted to let you folks know that we are continuing to meet with FEMA and ACL regarding the DD Council's role for emergency preparedness and disasters. So we have a meeting with them tomorrow again. So that's just something we're continuing to follow up. I apologize, Chair, I always talk about the budget, but I forgot to talk about the activities.
No.
So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. We'll also be in July. We'll talk about it more. And our May meeting, July is our annual conference in Washington, D.C. We're having our ITAC. It's our ITAC is our help for the DD councils. All board members received a link if you guys want to go on and learn more about what we're doing on a national level. That link was sent out to everybody. There's 8 different sessions coming up in May, and if anybody wants to sign up, you could go ahead. It's free, and you could sign up and get more information on what we're doing at a national level. I just want to make sure I brought up those 2 main things. We did talk about the Day at the Capitol, which was a great event, and we're going to be continuing to follow up with our fetal alcohol spectrum disorder group. We did get money last year to help promote education on that, so we'll be continuing to do that. We spent most of it, but we still have a little bit of funds left that we're going to be able to continue to support that group as well. And then that's about it. So that's what I just want to make sure.
In July, I'm not gonna be with the DD Council because I'm gonna be in a board member already.
Okay, Michelle, can I help
sorry.
you with that a little bit?
Yeah.
So, thank you, Michelle, for mentioning that. This is Daintree again. We run our DD Council from July, the fiscal year, so from July to June. So June 30th, Michelle has put her 8 years in as a DD Council member. We're very proud of her. And so she will not be eligible to reapply, but she said she still wants to attend the meetings, and she wants to work with self-advocates on how to be a board member. Is that correct, Michelle? And so we have a lot. We have 12, we're going through 12 GMs, governor messages for council members. So we are up to 19 vacancies. but we have those filled, and so there's 12. So far, we've only had one GM, and Chip Chase. Thank you very much, reappointed. The other 11, we're still waiting for our governor's message of when that will be heard. So thank you, Michelle.
I'm gonna be the highest level. I'm gonna be outside in the community. So if you guys are needing me, I'm gonna be here. If you need me, I'll be coming and helping you guys out. If you need me, just call me. Okay? Bye. Thank you.
All right, with that being said, thank you, Dentry. Our next meeting will be,
Well, we have to ask if there's any public
oh,
testimonies.
sorry. Do we have any public testimonies? Go ahead, sorry.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Monday's a holiday.
Sorry. I can answer are you able to come? You might want to call Timothy. He might able to come in here and do your stuff if you ask nicely from him.
Okay, so we apologize for that. It is for the board, and you are at this time a public member, and we're going to miss you. But it's our annual, so it's a longer meeting. It's from 9 to 4. But typically, it doesn't go that long. But maybe you could come in the afternoon a little bit later then, maybe? Okay, I'm sorry, Ray.
If not, then you can call me.
Sure.
Okay.
You could.
Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, May 29th, 2024 at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can join via Zoom or in person at Olelo Community Media, 1122 Mapunapuna Street. With that being said, I will officially.
Oh, 1 second,
Oh,
Chair.
sorry.
I'm sorry. For that annual meeting, though, we request that people come in person if possible for at least part of the meeting, because this is the time that we get to meet people and network.
Okay.
So if at all possible, we hope people could come in person.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. So if you are available, please come in person, and we'd love to see you in person. With that being said, I will now
Well, ask if anyone on Zoom has any comments or questions. Does anybody have any other announcements?
Does anyone have any other announcements or questions?
Anything in
Seeing
the
none?
chat? Nothing in the chat?
Nothing.
I just want to make sure. And I see a person, Stacy, on Zoom. I don't know if you introduced yourself or if there's something you wanted to say. Okay, Chair, sorry. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
I will officially adjourn this meeting at 3:24. Thank you, everybody.
A little bit louder, Michelle.